Morning, guys. Hope you're good. I just want to point you to some of the interesting thoughts that have come to me after I posted that video about I broke the contract. The thing that stuck out to me was Joanne Iskander saying, please look at the work of Bettina Love, amazing human with the most gorgeous brain. She explains the who and the why. And she describes the difference between becoming a co-conspirator and not just an ally. So I recommend you go and watch that video. I'll put a little clip in now.
Where do we start? Start with Black women.
Yeah. And as we start with Black women, we know that no movement is done alone.
And in the book, I use James Tyson. Now, many people are not familiar with who James Tyson is. You know Bree Newsom. Bree Newsom was the young Black woman who took that Confederate flag down in South Carolina 8 days after Dylann Roof went into the AME church. And I tell the story in the book because I think this is an important story because Bree Newsom and James Tyson did not know each other. There were some folks who got together and said that flag is coming down and a Black woman's gonna take it down. They taught Bree how to climb. They had Bree's bail money ready. And that morning, Bree Newsom and James Tyson were at an IHOP. They got the word, come take the flag down. Bree Newsom climbs up on the pole to take the flag down. Now, this is where the difference between an ally and a co-conspirator is. There's a gate for the flagpole. James Tyson isn't standing like outside the gate. Okay, like, Bree, they coming, Bree. Hey, Bree. No, James Tyson, he is inside. And then the police say, you know what? We can get her down. Tase the pole. James Tyson, because he wasn't here, he was here, said, okay. He put his hand on the pole. That white man at that moment understood why he was there. He put his hand on the pole and he knew that the police would not tase that pole with a white man, healthy white man, right there. He saved her life. That's what it means to be an ally. You can stand out there. And allies know all the language, they read all the books, they come to the meeting with all the terms. So they come and they know everything and they good. And then after the meeting, you're like, well, what we gonna do? They go, you're like, hey, they left already? Where'd they go?
I'm gonna call an Uber.
I'm gonna call an Uber, right? So that's the difference between being an ally and a co-conspirator. You know, and this is that back to that abolitionist, is to put something on the line for somebody.
Yeah.
Take a risk to see how to use your whiteness. Whiteness is like a bank. And it just, your ATM card just replenishes itself. So spend it. As the kids say, cash out. Right, cash out. It's gonna come right back. And so to be a co-conspirator, I try to write in the book, is to take risks for somebody. To put something on the line, but to use it in a way in which where you're using your privilege.
Yeah.
Yes.
Use it. And I'm not just talking about white folks, I'm talking about cisgender folks. Use it for trans folks, like use it for queer folks. It doesn't have to be small risk, big risk. James Tyson simply said here, put his hand on the pole. That's it. And they gotta come to the table with something more than just, I read the new book.
Right.
Right, take a risk.
Go follow her. I really like her approach to this. Another comment was from Karola Pokladnik. So she says, so just keep burning everything, including Black businesses, homes, and occupy a city. She's not right. Stop apologizing. Do you live in the US? Have you experienced the riots in 92? Were you around in 68 in Watts? It's a culture of self-destruction. Anger doesn't solve anything. Where are the role models to create a better life? I come from a long line of white privilege and empire. And when I say I broke the contract, my grandfather was part of the apartheid Verwoerd government in South Africa. He was the commissioner for transport. He believed in a bad idea. So when I hear Kimberly get angry, to point straight back at the anger or even the potential violence or destructive tendencies that are being voiced misses the point. What Kimberly is crying out for, what I hear her crying out for through my screen, is to make the game fair. It hits me and I take it seriously. And Kimberly, I hear your voice I hear your anger. And just like Dr. West is saying,
I saw in the hearts and minds and souls, not just of the Floyd family, but of the church, of the music, of the preaching, a love, not one reference to hatred or revenge. It was all about love and justice. It's in the great tradition of the best of Black people, a people who have been hated chronically, systemically for 400 years, but have taught the world so much about love and how to love. You saw John Coltrane's Love Supreme in that church service. You saw the love of the children on Marvin Gaye's What's Going On and Toni Morrison's Beloved. You saw Mama Raising in the Sun of Lorraine Hansberry. White America ought to give Black people a standing ovation that after 400 years of being terrorized, we refuse to create a Black version of the Ku Klux Klan. You can put us down, but you're not going to put us down in such a way that we're going to hate you because you become the point of reference. No, now I'm not saying we don't have Black thugs and gangsters. I'm talking about the best of our tradition. Because brother, if we had created a Black version of the Ku Klux Klan, there'd been a civil war every generation with terrorist cells in every hood. And that's what Brother Trump needs to understand, because it looks like he's trying to push us to the race war. But the good news is, if there was a race war, we got a whole lot of white brothers and sisters on our side now. That makes a big difference. We got a love that the world can't take away. The world, white supremacy may make being Black a crime, but we refuse to get in the gutter. We're going to go down swinging like Ella Fitzgerald, Muhammad Ali, in the name of love and justice. We're doing it for Brother Wyatt. We're doing it for my daughter. We're doing it for the Asians. We're doing it for the whole world, because that's the only hope of the world. And that kind of love is always tragic, comic, and cruciform. You got to get ready to get crucified with that kind of love, and yet you keep dishing it on generation after generation after generation. The Floyd family lifted up that spiritual, moral banner.
I never had the honor of taking one of your classes, but I feel like I'm a student of yours, and I learn lessons every time you speak. And I just think it's...
No, we're in it together, brother. And the beautiful thing about tears, Socrates never cries, but Jeremiah does, and so does Jesus. We cry because we care. We're concerned. It's not about political correctness. It's not about self-righteousness. We cry because we are not numb on the inside. We don't have a chilliness of soul and a coldness of mind and heart. We cry because we connect, but then we must have a vision that includes all of us. And we must have an analysis of power that's honest in terms of the greed, especially at the top, in terms of the hatred running amok, in terms of the corruption, not just White House Congress, too many churches, too many mosques, too many synagogues, too many universities, too many civic associations, and then the greed in us. You and I talk about this all the time, right? The gangster in us, because we're wrestling with this day by day, and that's why we need each other, my brother. We must have the integrity, honesty, and decency, not purity. No one of us is pure pristine. We all have our spots and our wrinkles, as it were. But it's the courage and the fortitude. That's what's necessary, the backbone. We don't need lukewarm folk. We don't need summer soldiers. We need all season love warriors. That's the tradition that we saw represented in that church at the spiritual level. The English word human comes from the Latin humando, which means burial. And that's what we saw today. We saw the humanity, because they were ascribing significance to this precious person made in the image of God, whose body was now undergoing extinction, and his soul ascending.
The overwhelmingly mature, considered, and loving response at George Floyd's funeral, and this spirit of co-creation that Bettina loves talking about, where people who want to support can just be present and engaged and in the arena, as Brené Brown would say, rather than sitting in the spectator seats. The difference that makes is huge. And so we must find a depth of loving response, as they've demonstrated at that funeral. We must find a creative, collaborative way to make the game work for everyone. And this isn't planned, but I made these 3 postcards a while ago. I don't have one of them here, but one is called Surrender. One is called Belong. And this one is Love When You Can't. And I just want to read it to you. Love when you can't. Love where it hurts. Love in death. Love with the morning. Love over everything. For love is viral. Love is final. And love lives on the wings of forever. And I believe that entirely. And we need to progress. And we need to build together new relationships. We can't go backwards. We have to go forwards. So see you soon.